we're each moving out of the enslavement template and into the crystalline template. And then collectively, we are also moving off of the old grid, right, and the old timeline, and onto the crystalline timeline and the crystalline grid. Like, right, we have to match the current grid. We have to match the current timeline in order to operate on it. So I'm sharing that because, you know, that's another reason why it's been so challenging for many of you and all of us to be operating in this world, right? Because we've been moving ourselves into that crystalline template, which again is like our natural state. It's our God self, right? We are God with God. We're sovereign. We're empowered. We're connected to source. We are embodying our natural gifts and traits. We're following our intuition, right? We are present in the moment of now, okay? We are self-healing. We are self-actualizing. Like, we have manifestation powers. We have the power of co-creation. Like, those are all that's the natural state, right? To be in higher thought, to be in joy, to be in creativity, to be in unity, right? That's what the crystalline template is. It's our natural state. And we've all been like working to basically move into that state. The challenge was that us trying to operate in that state completely clashed with the old grid, because the old grid, let's just call it the matrix grid or whatever, right, was only geared towards supporting the enslavement template. It wasn't geared to supporting the God self or the higher self crystalline template, right? Those two clashed. This is another like kind of thing that if you understand this, you can understand a lot more about mom and her journey and why it looked the way that it did and why she experienced what she did, is because those two clashed, right? It has been very challenging to be someone who's on the awakening path, who's embodying their higher self, or, you know, working to do that all the time, to be embodying love, to be in the present moment of now, because everything around you and the whole world and all the grids and society and the structures and the systems were geared towards opposing that, right? It was this opposition between love and fear. And that's why it felt so challenging. That's why we know inherently, I think we all know innately, that this is not the way things are supposed to be, right? And we would often see this, that those who were embodying love and serving love would have the hardest time, right? Mom being the prime example of that. Like, she took it all on because everything was in opposition to her. And that's why it has been this battle, right? It has been this battle where it almost has been this paradox where the more conscious we've become, the more higher self we've embodied, the more love that we are sharing and serving, the harder things got. And that's why we've kind of come to the conclusion, right, a lot of us, and over the years especially, that you can't wake anybody up. And almost the more that we tried to, the more it would backfire. And I think a lot of that reason too is because this has not been an easy journey. And so for a lot of the beings who are still what we would say is they're unawakened, they have not yet remembered who they are or why they're here, they have not really come to seeing truth, right, in some way, they weren't ready to wake up simply because they wouldn't have been able to make it. What a lot of you have experienced and what we've all kind of been through was not for the faint of heart, right? So this is why there was timing to all of this. Those that kind of did it first, and mom was the first one to do it, nobody wants her journey, okay? She always said that. Everybody wants to come at her for saying she's Mother God, for, you know, sharing the things that she shared, for living her life and her journey the way that she did. And she would say, nobody wants this role. Trust me, nobody wants this. And she would always say, if somebody else wants to do it, like, please, please go ahead. Because to be the first to claim your God self and to basically take fear and the ego head on, knowing that you're going to have all the opposition, all of the attacks, all of the persecution, all of the rejection, all of the judgment, that nobody wanted to do that. And so for a lot of you as well, no matter again where you are in your journey, in some way, your soul chose to do this before a lot of the other masses because your soul maybe just had more experience. And again, this is by soul contract, was willing to do this, to take it on first, knowing that this is not going to be easy. Now, the good news about this is what I've been feeling since that 11/11 activation, which was slowly but surely, it's going to now become easier. It's because we are now getting that support where finally the grids and the timeline that we're on has now been solidified, and it's now supporting the crystalline template. It's now supporting the higher self. It's now supporting love and not supporting fear and not supporting the ego programming, right? So this is a slow process because what's going to happen now is the old grid and the old template, right, was geared towards this enslavement. It benefited those who served the ego. It benefited those who served the matrix system. And now that's slowly but surely phasing out. It wasn't a one and done overnight, but we can already